For over 2 decades, Jeff Bezos wrote these annual letters to his shareholders, and they're really this rare opportunity to peek inside the mind of one of the world's most successful and, let's be honest, most intense founders.
And there's this one phrase that shows up in almost every single letter he wrote. It's still day one. It sounds simple, right? But it's not just some corporate motto. It's actually the key that unlocks Amazon's entire operating system.
So we're going to unpack that playbook. We're going to look at the powerful principles hidden inside these letters that really show you how to build a company that's truly distinctive. Let's dive in.
Okay, so it all starts with this foundational mindset, this relentless, almost obsessive drive to stay nimble, to stay hungry, and to be completely, utterly focused on the customer. So what does day one even mean? Well, it's basically a commitment to always operate like a startup, no matter how big you get. It's about fighting against the magnetic pull of how things are usually done. It means you're making big decisions, and you're making them fast, and you're always assuming you're right at the beginning of the journey. But here's where it gets really interesting. It's how Bezos defines the alternative, what he calls day two. For him, it's not some gentle slide into being a mature, comfortable company. No, he sees it as a cliff. Yeah, he's not subtle about it. Day two is stasis, then irrelevance, then this excruciating, painful decline, and then death. For Amazon, this isn't just a motivational phrase, it's a survival strategy. The stakes are completely existential. Everything they do is designed to keep the company in day one. So, okay, that's the mindset. But how do you actually do it? How do you stay in day one? Well, the first pillar isn't just a feel-good slogan. It's a very specific, repeatable method. Always start with the customer. Think about it. Most companies, they look at what they're good at. They build a product based on those skills, and then they go hunting for customers. Amazon flips that whole script on its head. They start by obsessing over a customer's problem, and only then do they go out and build or acquire the skills they need to solve it.
And they have this really unique process for it. Before anyone writes a single line of code, they write the press release for the finished product. I mean, think about that. It forces you to be absolutely crystal clear on what the customer benefit is from the very beginning. If you can't write a compelling press release, the product probably isn't worth building.
And this quote just nails it. Their innovation is proactive. It's not reactive. They are obsessed with making things better before the competition forces them to, with solving needs a customer might not even know they have yet.
Now, you just can't have that kind of deep customer obsession if you're constantly worried about the next quarter's results. It only works if you have the institutional patience to see it through. And that brings us to pillar number 2, playing the long game.
I mean, to really get Amazon's long-term strategy, you have to go back to the very beginning. Bezos had a great, secure, high-paying job at a hedge fund when he had this crazy idea to sell books online. So he created this mental model he called the regret minimization framework. He pictured himself at 80 years old, looking back on his life. And he realized he would never regret trying this internet thing and failing. But he knew for sure that he would be absolutely haunted by the regret of never even trying. That powerful idea became baked right into the company's DNA. And this way of thinking isn't just some vague philosophy. It's literally built into their finances. You can forget about quarterly earnings. Amazon focuses on one single, often counterintuitive metric, maximizing long-term free cash flow per share.
Bezos actually laid this out once with a hypothetical example. He described a business with fantastic-looking earnings. I mean, look at that growth. But then you look at the free cash flow, and it's a disaster. The business is literally burning through cash to get that growth. It's actually destroying value. It's the perfect illustration of why focusing on the right long-term metric is everything.
Okay, so when you have that long-term focus, it creates the room, the breathing space, for Amazon's third and probably most famous pillar, a culture of relentless invention. The way Bezos sees it, if you already know something is going to work, then it's not an experiment. It's not real invention. True invention requires a willingness to fail, to be misunderstood for a long time, and to get back up and learn from your mistakes. And this willingness to take big swings is where the massive home runs come from. Things like AWS, Marketplace, Prime. These are pillars of the company that now define entire industries. I mean, AWS was just this radical idea born from an internal need, and today it basically runs a huge chunk of the modern internet. But here's the thing you have to remember. Those huge successes were all built on the lessons learned from a string of pretty big failures. Before Marketplace worked, there was Amazon Auctions and Z-Shops.
The Fire Phone was this massive public flop, but everything they learned from it was crucial for creating the Echo and Alexa.
Bezos had a great analogy for this. He said, business isn't like baseball, where the most you can score on one swing is 4 runs. In business, one single success can score 1,000 runs. That one massive win more than pays for all the other strikeouts you had along the way.
So why? Why does all of this matter so much? The day one mindset, the customer obsession, the willingness to fail, what's the ultimate point? Well, in his very last letter as CEO, Bezos tied it all together into one powerful, overarching goal: survival.
He pulled out this quote from the biologist Richard Dawkins, and this is the key. He wasn't using it as some cute metaphor. He meant it as a literal, physical description of how the universe works, of its relentless pull toward equilibrium, toward sameness.
And his point was that for a company, equilibrium is irrelevance. Becoming typical is a form of corporate death. So all of these principles we've talked about, they are a form of work. They are the energy you have to constantly expend to fight the universe's tendency to make you normal. Distinctiveness is survival.
And really, at the end of the day, this philosophy isn't just about business. It's a challenge for all of us. The universe, the world around us, it kind of wants you to be typical. It's the path of least resistance. So the question these letters really leave us with is a personal one. How much energy are you willing to put in to maintain your own distinctiveness?